Hello, everyone. My name's Linda, and I'll be presenting using PANDA to support engagement and personalized learning in virtual courses. Now, you might be asking yourself, what is PANDA? Well, it's not this guy. It's not the fuzzy bear that's native to China, but rather PANDA is an acronym that stands for P, prepare to engage, A, activate your prior knowledge, N, navigate the resources, D, demonstrate your understanding, A, articulate your learning. When I present PANDA to you, I want you to think of ways that you can maximize this framework. First, I want you to think of PANDA as the backbone of virtual course design in Canvas Learning Management System, or any LMS for that matter. And lastly, I want you to consider ways that you can maximize different sections of PANDA to purposefully support student engagement and personalized learning. When I ask you to think of PANDA as the backbone structure of virtual course design, I also want you to consider that backbone structure as being something that's consistent. And so when you design a course or several courses, you are using the PANDA as a structure throughout each of those courses. So it's consistent, it's familiar, and that lends itself to reliability. So when students go into your course or your colleague's course, if you're using PANDA method across different content areas in a building, for example, the students are comfortable with going into that course, seeing PANDA, recognizing and understanding the structure and saying, hey, I can do this. I've seen this before. I know where to begin. I know what to do. And PANDA is sort of anchoring what I need to do and my sequencing through this module in a very structured way. But I don't want you to think of that structure as being rigid. When we talk about structures and frameworks, sometimes we think of them as being rigid. But I want you to think of PANDA as being flexible enough to allow you to add your own components, those components that support student engagement, and the other components or similar components that support personalized learning and differentiation for a different variety of learners that you might have in your classroom. So I'm going to stop the recording for a minute because I'm going to hop over to Canvas and we're going to take a look at an example. Okay, welcome back. Here we are in the PANDA demo course. I created this course just for the purposes of this demo. Now, for those of you who might be new to Canvas, I'm going to just walk you through a quick orientation of the Canvas user dashboard. On the very far left, we can see a navigation menu pane that's sort of a series of stacked icons with different features and functions of Canvas LMS. And then just on the inside or to the right of that, we have the navigation menu that we can set up and customize for each of our courses. Now, one trick is really nice is to put your course into student view. And if you see to the far right side at the top, you can click the student view button and you'll see this bright kind of purple pink border go around your course. And this gives you a nice lens through which you can look at your own course content, because this is what your students are going to see when they log in. Now, you can see that I've sort of created a very finite, very limited navigation menu so as not to confuse students. My menu contains only this home page, which is where we are now, and then announcements and modules. Now, look at announcements. I've adjusted the settings in the announcements feature to sort of queue or stack the most recent announcements at the very top of the home page. Now, you can customize this and you can stack as many announcements as you like, but I would recommend limiting your announcements to the most recent 3. Now, this first announcement is really just a one-way announcement to everyone logging into the course because it contains the instructor's information, contact information, preferences on how the instructor would prefer to be contacted, and then expectations as to when you might receive a reply from the instructor. Now, in the settings for this announcement, I did not select reply because, again, this is a push out message. This is a one-way trip, and I don't need to have comments from students for this particular announcement. I'm returning to the home page. However, you can see that the next announcement stacked on top of it does have the reply feature. So I'm going to click on this announcement. This is an announcement that's sort of at a midpoint in the content, right? So it's a checking in with you type of an announcement. And I'm reaching out to the learners and I'm conveying a message that you should be about halfway through this module. If you have any questions or concerns about what you've done thus far or what you might be coming up in later in the module, please contact me. So the nice thing about this mid-module announcement is that you can customize the date as to when you'd like this announcement to queue to the homepage. So you can set it and forget it, sort of. And then again, you can set the reply feature so that students can reply to your message and say, hey, Mrs. Muller, I'm having a little trouble understanding what you want for the final task or the final assignment. Can you give me an email or whatever? Can you reach out to me? And then if you have your settings for notifications set, you should be receiving those replies in your email, in addition to checking in on the course on a regular basis, as facilitators and instructors do anyway. Okay, so let's move down to the rest of the homepage. And I want you to take a look at the course title. It's Best Ever Chocolate Chip Cookies. How fun, right? Something that's lighthearted and good for a demo. Now, the course banner is an image, probably a JPEG, that I created using Canva. And so the nice thing about Canva is they have a free version, they have a licensed version, but you can go into Canva and they have a Google Classroom banner template. So you can grab that template and you can customize the font and what you want to put into it, and you can add a couple of images within the banner, and then you download it and save it as a JPEG or a GIF, and you can use it as your Canvas course banner. Okay, then I inserted the horizontal line here, which is an option during the editing of your page, your home page. And I do this just to break up content, right? Just to chunk it in different sections of the page so that it's just not one long run-on kind of thing. I don't want you to pay attention to the content here. That's not important. Just look at the structure and think about PANDA as you're looking at the structure. So in the middle here, we have about this course, and at the end, we have getting started instructions. And then in the footer of this homepage, I put our organizational logo. So my instructions say to click on modules to begin, and that's what I will do. And you can see here again, second page, which is the module, setting up the module, giving the module a title, and then the module subsections are where we start to set up PANDA, prepare, activate, navigate, demonstrate, articulate. So let's look at subsection 1.1. In this section, learners can read an overview of the module, review the learning objectives and action items as they relate to the whole module. So again, I just found a free piece of clip art on, the web and saved it. And I use this consistently for every prepare segment of PANDA. So we have the overview, learning objectives, action items, breaking up the content with horizontal lines. And again, using my old friend Canva, I created a footer banner that I use consistently through this course. And I included just some images of the chocolate chip cookies and milk and our organizational logo. And this is going to be a standard throughout the whole module. Next, third page, subsection 1.2. Activating what I know about chocolate chip cookies. So we're asking students to activate their prior knowledge and think about key questions and start to review critical learning resources. Now, this is a great way to sort of prime the pump for their thinking and engage them in what you're going to start doing as far as learning and providing instruction to the students. So this is a nice place to maybe consider using a KWL chart. And you would set something up like a Google Doc or a Word document, and you would maybe ask students to download it, fill out the K and the W columns, and hang on to it for the L at the end or toward the end of this module. And then we sort of, again, tease and whet their appetites and get them engaged and hook them into the learning with maybe some fun facts. And once again, using an infographic template in Canva, I was able to find some cookie fun facts and put them into this infographic. And please, please, please don't forget to cite your sources. I cited my sources for these fun facts within the infographic. And again, using the same footer image at the bottom of this page. Okay, next. So we enter navigate. This is where the rubber meets the road, because in this section, learners will engage with critical interactive content to enhance new knowledge. Now, this is the section of PANDA where you're kind of delivering your direct instruction. And so you're encouraged as the instructor or the facilitator to leverage digital tools, the right digital tool that fits the activity or the direct instruction. Maybe you'd want to include a video, from YouTube, or this is a TED Ed video. You may have other videos that you like to use. You may want to use Screencastify or other tools to record a few Google Slides and do some direct instruction through a narrated presentation. Or you may want to have an audio clip. Or you may want to have a variety of ways to deliver direct instruction. Again, citing the sources that you're embedding into this page, using the same footer for consistency, reliability. It sort of adds another layer to that structure that is PANDA. Next, now we pivot just a little bit to the D part of PANDA, where demonstrate. We're asking the learner to complete a task or an assignment in which they will apply what they've learned thus far, and they'll turn something into you, likely for a grade. And so I've sort of started to navigate away from creating pages in Canvas, and this is an assignment. You can see this up here, sort of in the breadcrumb trail of links that have gotten us here to subsection 1.4. I've assigned 25 points to this task, and I've set it up so that students need to submit something, a text entry, media recording, or a file upload. Now, this is, again, where you can support personalized learning and engagement by giving clear instructions and maybe giving some choices as to what students might want to do as they apply what they've learned. So for this assignment, there are two parts. Choose one of the tasks from the task list and finish the final column of the KWL chart and turn it in. Now, in my task list, I want them to sort of apply what they've learned about chocolate chip cookies and then record a video or design a survey and do an infographic poster to display that data that they collect, or record an audio clip, maybe from an interview with someone who's a known chocolate chip cookie fanatic, or bake a batch and then publish your announcement with a photograph to your favorite social media channel. And then, of course, submit the KWL chart, and we put deadlines in here, and we include rubrics so that the students know exactly what's expected for each of these tasks. And again, we're adding the footer image at the bottom for consistency and reliability. And we click next. And then to wrap up this whole module, we land on the A, articulate. So this is where learners reflect a little bit. You can have a writing task here, or just a, sort of think and share, reflect on the module, what they've learned, their activities, or the tasks that they've completed. And then this is a nice place for a discussion forum. So again, we've used pages, several pages, one assignment, and a discussion forum. And how did I get these little chocolate chip cookie bullet points? Well, that was easy. I inserted a table in edit mode for this discussion forum in the text input box I inserted a table that was 2 columns and 3 rows. In the first column, I just took an image of the chocolate chip cookie and I resized it so that it was nice and compact. And I copied it 3 times into that first column into the first 3 rows. So they become my bullet points. And then I pose my critical questions here into column 2, rows 1, 2, 3. Okay, let me go back to the home page. I'm going to pause the recording so that I can navigate over to the PowerPoint. Okay, here we are back at our slide deck. And we've sort of covered those backbone structures of virtual course design using the PANDA acronym. And then I sort of previewed ways that you can maximize sections of PANDA to purposefully support student engagement and personalized learning. Let's just look at that again and break it down into those 2 different subsections of student engagement and personalized learning. You can see that throughout the activate, the navigate, and the demonstrate, we were supporting student engagement by setting up or structuring shorter segments of instruction. We talked about chunking information. We talked about using a variety of digital tools, which is the 3rd bullet point here, to deliver that direct instruction. This is a great place where you can use some differentiation strategies too. So in your task selection or in the ways that students will best understand new information, you can use a variety of mixed media in order to enable understanding for a variety of different learner styles. And then next, under personalized learning, of course, we provided choices for the learner that supports their own creativity. So whatever speaks to them, they have their voice and choice, and they can kind of decide what kind of project they might want to do or task or assignment, and they can submit it. And there's a rubric to guide them. Again, using a variety of digital tools, this is where you would want to encourage them. You're going to model the digital tools in your direct instruction, and then you're going to maybe ask students to maybe tap into those same digital tools. Use Screencastify and sort of do a little video about chocolate chip cookies, or use an audio recording digital tool to do your interview and upload those files to share with everybody and for the grade. And then, of course, this sets the stage and it enables that opportunity for rich discussions that then occur in the discussion forum. So I'm going to stop sharing one more time and pause the video. And just one more time sort of review how we set up student engagement and personalized learning within those different PANDA sections. So under Activate, we know that we can engage students and start to hook them into that engagement when we introduce a new topic by asking them to activate their prior knowledge. And we can set up our course with a variety of different tasks or mini tasks or resources to get them started. Next, and again, where the rubber meets the road, in Navigate, we're asking students, and I underlined this, to engage with critical interactive content. The more interactive it is, I think it helps to sustain that engagement and that variety of mixed media and or texts. And there are screen readers with it built into Canvas LMS. So there are lots of supports in here to help with differentiation and with delivering direct instructions to students. And so you can design this area. I've seen the Navigate area where it's kind of lengthy. So again, don't be afraid. Segmenting content isn't meaning minimal, right? You may have a lot of ground to cover. You may even want to do a couple additional subsections to navigate. You may have like Navigate Part 1. Look at these resources, and you should be doing this and completing this by this date. Maybe set up an announcement to make sure students are staying on task, and then Navigate Part 2. Let's finish the learning by finishing up with these resources. So there's lots of flexibility in this design to PANDA. Don't want you to feel like you can't kind of adapt it or tweak it for your own purposes. And then next, of course, the demonstrate. This is where we maintain student engagement, but yet now we're really starting to get into personalized learning, where we're asking them to sort of reflect, apply what they've learned, but you have choices here. We want you to be creative. We want you to pick something that appeals to you, but you need to be, on task. You need to be aligned to the rubric. You need to submit it for review and grade. And then finally, personalized learning and sort of continuing with that student voice. Now I want you to articulate on what you've learned and share that information with your peers. Okay, one final thing to demo, and I'm going to take this out of student view. I'm going to leave student view. I'm going to return to the home page. Then I'm going to go to modules. One other nice thing that you can do in Canvas is set up an add requirement. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with add requirements. But what I did here, let me cancel this and go back. I'm in module 1, and this is the banner or the header for that very first module. And underneath that module is all of the PANDA elements, right? So each of the 5 sections of this module. If you click on the 3 vertical dots, that's the edit menu for that module. Click on edit, and then you'll want to add a requirement. Here is where you can control pacing of students through each of the sections of PANDA. I'll say that again. This is the feature that allows you to control the pacing of students through the different sections of PANDA. So you can select, students have to move through the requirements in sequential order. And so here, when they go through the prepare the learning, you want them to view this item, you want them to mark it as done, okay? You want to know that they went in there and read what the learning objectives are and what the action items are. Then you can add a requirement and you change this. Now we go to activate and we want them to mark that as done. And then we go to 1.3, navigate, and we want them to mark that as done. And we go to demonstrate. You can see how we have 3 pages, 1 assignment, 1 discussion. It's sort of a nice way to, it's sort of an organizational guide for how you've set this module up. So we have D for demonstrate, mark it as done, and finally A for articulate, contribute to the page. Now we're going to update the module, and then I'm going to go back to student view and watch very, very carefully. So now what do you notice? Subsection 1.1 prepare is dark, right? It's sort of when I can click on it and I can start it. And then it has this little sub notation, mark done. But I can't access 1.2 or 3 or 4 or 5 before I do 1.1. So I have to come in here as a student and I have to read through everything here, and then I have to mark this as done. Once it's done, I'll go back to modules from the menu, and you can visually see check mark. I've done this, and it activates or makes available the next section of PANDA. So then I can go, what do you know about cookies? I go through my activate page, I mark it as done, I click next, and then the bell rings and I have to go to my next class, and tomorrow when I log in, I can come back to modules and I can say, at a glance, oh, I have to get into navigate. Maybe I'll go back to activate and just reread that, and that's instructions that you could give them, but then tell them to continue with their self-pacing through the course content. So again, I'm leaving student view, and I'm just going to go to my home page. that is a nice way to sort of support that consistency and reliability, that comfort for students that they can handle this, they can do this, it's organized. I have these different supports in place to help me get through this course. So let me stop my sharing and pause the recording. Okay, back for our wrap up at the slide deck. So again, the learner engagement recap is we've got that consistent structure throughout the module. We're using the right digital tools to support the delivery of instruction to maintain that engagement. And we want to use a variety of relevant resources in different multimedia formats. The personalized learning recap, that what we've seen is we're going to offer several different tasks that learners can choose from and complete. We're going to suggest digital tools that the learner can use to apply their knowledge and create something that they can submit. And we're going to require them to present their tasks using a different variety of formats. So we have written responses, interviews, videos, audios, and so on. And then you want to make sure you customize your rubrics to guide your learners through the task completion. Okay, I want to thank you so much for selecting this video, and I hope it's been helpful. I hope you become, PANDA users. I think you'll benefit from the structure and the flexibility of it both. But here's my information, and you're welcome to contact me by email if you have any questions, and messages are also welcome. So again, thank you and good luck, fellow PANDA creators.